Chris Spiker for AVNice. LeeRoy Halley has put in 50 years working here in the Antelope Valley, mainly always at Halley Olsen Murphy Mortuary and Cremations. And some of his friends from the community are coming by to celebrate 50 years working. We love LeeRoy. He's an important part of the Antelope Valley. Let's listen in and hear some great stories and meet some of his friends.
How you doing? Congratulations on 50 years in this valley, doing business here with all of us. It's been a great time with you. I haven't been around that long, but hopefully one day I will be.
Wow, excellent. Thank you all for coming tonight to a very, very special evening here. We are celebrating a real milestone in our valley, and I can't be more excited about it. I have known LeeRoy for a number of years. I have known a lot of his crew for a number of years, Steve the Heitmans, Steve and Lane. And I think this is just one of the best events we've had in a long time, and I can't thank everybody for coming out tonight. We're going to get started with a few words from Bill Hawkins, our owner of this fine establishment here. Bill, if you'd like to take the mic and tell us what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Mark, and welcome to this great event that we are all here with the distinguished guests, LeeRoy, some of his family, some of our own associates, community leaders, joint sponsorship with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. But I think that the one thing that brings us all together is LeeRoy Halley, and what a privilege it is for me to kick off. I know there will be presentations coming, and therefore I will keep it brief. But 50 years ago, what a blessing to this community. When LeeRoy Halley began his career just a few feet from here on the other side of the alley, on the corner of Dayton and Millie. Most of you are aware of all that LeeRoy has done in this last 50 years for this community, and therefore I will not go through all of that. But suffice to say, what an enormous footprint LeeRoy Halley has made in this community. community. You know, and I would think, you know, generosity of time, talent, as well as treasure, epitomize LeeRoy Halley, but in the most humble, gracious, humble demeanor, almost shy, and yet community giant. What most of you probably don't know is that he's as esteemed within the funeral industry as he is here in the Antelope Valley. Past president of the Los Angeles County Funeral Workers Association, the current County Funeral Workers Association. We served together for a number of years on the California Funeral Workers Association. But on a personal level, as most of you know, one time LeeRoy sold the business, stayed active, has been with this firm for 50 years, and today, 3 days, as it was actually June 6, 1966 that it started. But when the big #1 consolidator company was buying the #2, which owned this, we, the Federal Trade Commission, mandated 92 divestitures, of which 2 of the Halley Olsen properties. And knowing LeeRoy for as many years with the profound respect that I have for LeeRoy Halley, friend, mentor, colleague, but what has been wonderful about our experience, and I'd just like to introduce my son, Andrew Hawkins, and Glenn Gomez, who are both part of our inner circle as a company. Mark introduced us. So, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for being here. Please stay
Back on front. Thank you, Bill. That was wonderful. Great to hear. So we have some very nice things to hand out today for LeeRoy and for Halley Olsen Murphy. And to start off, we're going to have Donna Tremere with Senator Runner's office, and I think also Senator Mackey's office. So Donna.
Thank you. The fun part of going first is everybody hasn't already said it. However, there's so much I want to say, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, what a testament to you, LeeRoy, for this room of people that you've touched so many community organizations and people, and I see so many faces tonight I haven't seen in a long time, and it's just really an honor for me because I've known you personally before I worked for either of the runners, and I know what you've contributed to this community. And a funny story, where is he, John Corrado?
He left.
He left? Oh,
yeah,
no.
He knew it was coming.
He knew I was going to call him because he and Lonnie and I were talking and saying you truly aren't a testament to your business because you look the same as we always remember you. And I said, I'll never remember that, John. And I know I didn't say it the way John did. But it's an honor to be here on behalf of Senator Runner to recognize you because she deeply, from the bottom of her heart, appreciates the time that you worked together at the fair. And I'm not even going to start on this because we know this doesn't even touch half of what you've done in the community, or a third, or a fourth, but it really talks about his distinguished career and his civic achievements and everything he's done to contribute to this community. And of all the whereases, it's resolved by Senator Sharon Runner and Assembly members Tom Lackey and Scott Wilk that LeeRoy Halley be commended for his exemplary record of service to the people of the state of California and extend their best wishes for continued success in all your future endeavors.
That's bigger than you, Donna. Mark's the photo bomber. Good. Right.
Thank you, Donna. Next we have representing Supervisor Michael Antonovich. We have Patricia Russell. Yeah.
First, on a personal note, I have known LeeRoy for probably over 40 years of his career. And LeeRoy has never turned me or any of my groups or organizations down when we ask for help. And we appreciate it.
We have a golf tournament coming up for the
Yeah.
Just saying.
Another one of my organizations. Well, from the County of Los Angeles, namely Mike and Tomovich, I have a commendation here for you in recognition of your dedicated service to the affairs of the community and for the civic pride demonstrated by numerous contributions for the benefits of all citizens of Los Angeles County. And this is signed by Mike and Tomovich, and I give this to you proud.
Thank you, Pat. And you know, LeeRoy is definitely a community-minded man. He stretches the entire Antelope Valley, both Palmdale and Lancaster. So we have both cities here that want to say a few words to you. So we're going to start off with Angela Riley, the city of Lancaster. We'll immediately follow up with Steve Hoffbauer, who's vice mayor for the city of Palmdale. So Angela, please.
City of Lancaster, you are truly a community pillar, and also board association to represent. You are a community pillar, and you've been doing this for 50 plus years, 50 years and 3 days.
How many seconds?
Thank you for your contribution to this community, and really thank you and your entire team for being in the go-to location to really understand the family's needs during times of loss and being the compassionate place to be go to. So thank you very much for your years of service and for being that in this community. And on behalf of the city of Lancaster, its council and our mayor, I'd like to present this accommodation. Thank you very much.
And it's really a pleasure to be here. I mean, you guys really need to look around and see how many people are here. The only person that's not here is the fire marshal right now. So, yeah, I know those guys. But, yeah, close enough. Anyways, as usual, if I would have gone to City Hall, I would have had this beautiful plaque for you. Every time I go there, they say they sent it already. I didn't go, so it's probably sitting over there in the receptionist's desk. So I'll bring it over, but just on behalf of the mayor and the entire city council and everybody at the city of Palmdale, we really appreciate what you do. You're the go-to guy in the community. And just look at all the things you've done. This is a testimony to what you've done. So thank you very much for what you do, man. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Rosie from the Court Civil Chamber of Commerce, and on behalf of the Court Civil Chamber, LeeRoy, we want to thank you. You've been a fantastic and invaluable member of our chamber. You've been here for 50 years, right, in business. I've been here for 4, so but in those 4 years, I've come to get to know LeeRoy, and I'm happy to call you a friend as well as a colleague. So on behalf of the Court Civil Chamber, we have this certificate here in recognition of half a century of business leadership and dedication to the Antelope Valley business community. So thank you, LeeRoy.
Robert Porterbaugh here.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I was here taking pictures for
I'm looking at Aaron. I'm looking at Aaron right now.
Gotta make a quick
Slide in
call.
like that.
All right, we're gonna keep moving on here. All taking too long taking pictures. From the Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we have
Smile,
Mark. Mark.
Man, I can sit here and I can talk all day. The reason for this is because, I hold a very special place in my heart with LeeRoy. And so does our chamber, because of the support that LeeRoy has given us over the years. He's been at a lot of our functions, and we can always count on him to be there to support us. And, I've been in the Valley since 1963, so as a young man, as a little boy,
Yeah,
coming
right.
to their other facilities, I didn't really like being there. Didn't quite understand what was going on at the time, but as I grew up, LeeRoy, you guys gave us the real meaning of what your facility is here. And it helps us bring closure and gives us a great place to come and say goodbye to our loved ones and people that we knew that aren't with us anymore. And LeeRoy, the passion that you have for the Antelope Valley here is awesome. You're a great guy, you're a killer. You're very likable. You've always opened your arms up to everybody here, and we really appreciate what you've done for the past 50 years. So on behalf of the AV Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we just want to show you some appreciation, and we recognize your 50 years here with the
Next, we have from the Shriners Organization, we have Daryl Brown.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. My name is Daryl Brown. I'm the president of the Antelope Valley Shrine Club. I'm here representing one of the many areas in this community that LeeRoy gets involved in. Our organization supports the Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children, and LeeRoy has for many, many years been one of the guiding lights in our organization, helping kids that need help and don't have the ways and the means to do that. So on behalf, before I present you this plaque, back when I was in my sheriffing days many years ago, we decided to form the Antelope Valley Sheriff's Boosters Club, which I see is a very successful organization in the community still. And LeeRoy was one of the first people that we went to when we decided to form the boosters. So he does many, many things. I could go on, and we were roommates together once, and that's another story. But LeeRoy, on behalf of the Antelope Valley Shrine Club, I'd like to present you this plaque. And it says for 50 years of community service, which goes along with what you do. Thank you, LeeRoy.
Thank you, Gerald. So next on our list, we have someone I think most of us know here, and is also very involved in the community for a number of years. Chris Spiker with AVNice. So Chris.
Anyway, on behalf of all the florists that you've trained for the last 50 years, I'd say thank you for 42 years of trying so hard with this florist and making me a better florist, I hope. And for that, we call you AVNice.
It's been kind of cool to see the pictures of LeeRoy in the younger days. Certainly brought out a lot of stories about the history of the Antelope Valley. And when we think of men like Monty Odette and Lugo Zigian, and I think we can honestly add to that list people like LeeRoy Halley, people that have stepped up, gone above and beyond, and found that perfect mix between business and community. I know that being a young guy, LeeRoy is someone I look up to. So it's great to have mentors like you, LeeRoy. Just a token of our appreciation, we were so excited to have you as our Grand Marshal here just a few years ago. Certainly for all of the work that you've done on behalf of our agricultural community out here and protecting our local environment. I know that so many kids have been just in awe of the work that you've done in the community. But on behalf of the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce and our board, I want to give you the certificate. It's a small token of our appreciation. And personally, I just want to say, here's the 50 more.
Go.
As I received all these presentations tonight, every time when I come up, I think of something I want to say about it, but I'd have to go through each one of those plaques or certificates to remind them. But one that particularly sticks in my mind is 2 days ago, I was at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, where we had the Sheriff of Palmdale, the Sheriff of Lancaster, and the Highway Patrol Commander speak to us. And the two sheriffs who have been a long time local residents with a higher patrolman, you know, they rotate around, and he's only been here a short time. But one of the comments he made, he says, in all the places where I was the captain of the higher patrol in these different areas of the state, he says this community is like no other participation with law enforcement and just the community spirit. So I just wanted to mention that for you guys, you know, we wouldn't have these kinds of things if it wasn't for you guys supporting the chambers and organizations like that. But my first thoughts about funeral service, I don't know when they go back to, I remember the first funeral I went to was a great aunt, and the only thing I can remember was playing on the dirt that they closed the grave with. And that was a long time ago. And then when I was living in Montana, because my dad was in the Air Force there, one of my best friend's brother was killed. And that was probably the first time that perked my interest in funeral service. But it didn't go anywhere from there. But then when I was living in Arizona last year in Apple High School, my dad was in the Air Force and worked in the funeral home nights and weekends. And so with me going to school and working and so like that, the only time I got to see Dad was when I went down to the funeral home and we played cards and some, you know, things like that. And that's where I really got, I guess, my first interest in funeral service. So I went to college with thinking, oh, maybe a pre-med, but I soon changed my mind from that, and I went to direction of funeral service. I went to mortuary school in 1962, 62 and 3, and then served my apprenticeship and got my funeral, I got my embalming license, and when I came up here in 1966, and I got my funeral director's license. But I think I really found my calling in funeral service. You get a lot of satisfaction when you deal with people. Obviously, it's probably the worst time in their life, and trying to help them through that time. You get the same satisfaction that maybe a surgeon that did a successful surgery would do, or something like that. People walk in and they see the deceased and say, oh, they look like they did 20 years ago, or something like that. You know, you just get this feeling inside that you really helped that family, and then building a memory picture and a service that means something for them by photographs or by bringing artifacts in that the deceased was known for and something like that. I think it really helps to bring some closure to the funeral, and it helps the family move on at a much faster pace than they would if you had nothing at all, which unfortunately a lot of people are choosing. So I never wanted to be, the funeral director that ran the city or anything like that. I just wanted to be a good funeral director, do my job, and serve the people who call on me. So that's pretty much where I come from. But I want to introduce some of my people here too. First of all, my longtime girlfriend, significant other, Halley Thompson. And I have 3 children here. All my children are here. Brian, my oldest, and my second child is Clinton, and he's here. Brian lives in Montgomery, Alabama. He works for a church organization. He's the IT man for that, and actually gets involved in preaching a few sermons here and there. My son Clinton lives in Temecula, and he's in a concrete business, doing footings and so on like that, and he's done a very good job.
The story of the rock.
Pardon?
Rock.
Yeah, and when business was so bad in 2009 and 10 and so like that, Clinton survived and became probably the leading organization in this town. And then my youngest, my daughter is here. I want you to come up with where's your husband? Of all my kids, Deanna's the only one that showed an interest in funeral service. She went to mortuary school, served her apprenticeship, got her license and so on like that. And about the time when she really started getting involved in the funeral home, she offered to marry this guy, and he took her to that. And then they came back from Ecuador, and a couple of months after that, they went to the Middle East. First in one of the countries called Qatar or Qatar or whatever. And as Deanna says, they were there long enough to put the pictures on the wall. They got transferred to Oman, where they were for a number of years. And if you saw some of these pictures of the you holding the lion and a couple of things like that, that was over there in Cairo, in Egypt, riding the camel. So, unfortunately, I never got to work with my daughter, but she was a good man and had a good family, and really proud of all my kids. I think that's all I have. A lot of people think that this is my retirement party.
No! Bill says no.
And it's not. For several years now, most of my job has been working services, and especially the people I know. And then if they get busy where they need extra help, they call me, and then I attend the chamber meetings, and as some folks have alluded to, do the PR work like that. So I'm happy doing that. Happy in my life work. I don't see anytime soon that I'm going to curtail that schedule. So you'll have me around for a few more years. Thank you all for coming, because this whole while was just overwhelming to me. It's believe that so many people showed up, and I'm grateful for each one of you for being part of my life. Thanks.
Thank you, LeeRoy. And as part of my notes I had in there at the end, we could close, I was going to ask everybody to stand and give LeeRoy a big round of applause. But I see we're always standing, so thank you so much, LeeRoy. Standing ovation, very well